What's up everyone, it's Shane from Maximum Quality Content here, and today we're going to be talking about The Creator, the latest sci-fi epic to grace the big screen, featuring common tropes and themes you'd expect from this genre, like the age-old conflict between AI and humanity, which is the main focus of the film. Directed by Gareth Edwards, who's most famously known for Godzilla 2014 and Star Wars Rogue One, I'd say. In other words, the man who not only kicked off an actual good cinematic universe, but also made one of the best Star Wars movies in decades. Like, what an absolute shad. Keep in mind this video will contain hot and spicy spoilers for the movie, so if you haven't seen it, you have been warned. So, does it reach the levels of quality of his other works? Well, today I'm going to cover the pros and cons to give you a better idea of what to expect, what worked and what didn't. But first, recap time. In the year 2055, an artificial intelligence created by the United States supposedly detonates a nuke over Los Angeles, which of course sparks widespread outrage. In response, the US, as well as the rest of the West, declares war, plotting to completely wipe the slate clean of any form of AI, period. On the other hand, Southeast Asia is directly opposed to their objective, having fully embraced AI themselves, forming a mutually beneficial relationship with it and coexisting, which is further emphasised by the creation of simulants. Machines that, as you can imagine, simulate humans, right down to the male, and female in this case, pattern baldness. 10 years later, protagonist Joshua Taylor is sent by the US undercover to Asia to find out more about Maya, who is suspected to have knowledge about Nirmata. Nirmata being the chief architect behind all the advancements in AI and simulant technology, or at least that's what the US believes. Both Joshua and Maya end up growing really close, with Maya actually getting preggers. But this is a movie, so things naturally don't go well. The US Army ends up launching an attack on the country, exposing Josh's identity and resulting in Maya's death. Another 5 years later, a disaffected Joshua is once again approached by the military, who want his help in finding Nirmata's base of operations and destroying a new secret weapon which they are currently housing. Joshua does not give a toss at all. In fact, I'm pretty sure the direct quote from him was, "I don't give a shit about going extinct. I got TV to watch." Which he said in that accent, in that exact voice, by the way. However, they managed to lure him by revealing that Maya might still be alive. So he accepts the job. When they reach the base, it turns out that the secret weapon is actually the first simulant child, who Josh names Alfie. It also turns out that she knows Maya's whereabouts, so Josh ends up disobeying orders to destroy the weapon, and the pair of them go on a journey to find his former partner. That's essentially the premise of the movie. With that out of the way, let's get right into them juicy pros and cons, starting with what worked well. The most abundantly clear and universally agreed upon pros are without a doubt the VFX and cinematography. The CGI, costume designs and general production elements feel very similar to that of Neil Blomkamp's catalogue of films. I'd honestly be surprised if they took no inspiration from his movies at all, which I think is pretty apparent by the overtly sci-fi yet oddly familiar military attire and weaponry, the realistic looking and overly intricate technology we see on full display with the robots and simulants, but most notably with the ginormous, seemingly impossibly sized structure that dominates the entirety of the movie. The Nomad, as it's called in this movie, is used to similar effect as the Mothership from District 9. However, where the Mothership was mainly present in the background in the movie, foreshadowing its importance later on, the Nomad is more of a lingering, terrifying threat that persists throughout the whole running time, interfering with the protagonist's main goal. To be honest, it's used to great effect here, as it makes the ending when they inevitably destroy the damn thing that more satisfying. When it comes to cinematography, I mean, just look at it, it's bloody gorgeous, plain and simple. Though it's no surprise considering who it was directed by. Godzilla 2014, while not my favourite G film by any means, is still arguably the most well shot. And the same thing can be said of Star Wars Rogue One. Not the best Star Wars movie, but very well shot nonetheless. I'm happy to report that this trend still continues on to Edward's latest piece. The two scenes that stood out to me the most in a visual sense were the attack on the village and the scene where Joshua and Alfie reach the temple. At one point in the movie, Joshua and Alfie manage to escape captivity and end up fleeing towards the village, which ends up under attack by the US military. This is one of the bigger set pieces in the film, and it's here where we see this awesome sequence where the military keeps spamming these robots that bolt towards the village and explode, which all takes place in this backdrop of a wooden bridge clouded in fog. It creates this, overwhelming tension and anticipation as you can hear them running towards the village, but of course you can't actually see them. It's especially stress-inducing because it's shot from the villagers' perspective, as they attempt to recognise and combat this threat. All in all, a great bloody scene, and don't even get me started on the temple, which looks just beautiful. Probably in large part due to it being shot on location, with the CG and special effects being overlaid on top. Plus, robot monks. That's just a thing that exists and is cool, and if you disagree, well, you're just wrong, I'm sorry. It's just, you're wrong. Speaking of robots, this brings me to the overall pro-AI message this film comes packaged with. Quite ballsy to take this kind of stance in current times of recent writer strikes influenced by AI, as well as the general negative shift in public opinion people are starting to have towards it. Especially when it comes to art and taking people's positions in the workplace, hence the strikes. But the point is delivered successfully for the most part, with the most obvious allegory being the prejudice towards AI mirroring modern day racism. A theme this film hammers to death into your head, with the consistent mistreatment of sentient robots and even the people who support them. It's a nice refresher from the current trend we're going through, as well as the evil AI trope, because, like it or not, the rise of AI is inevitable. While we haven't reached the sentient stage yet, and to be honest it's still quite a ways away, we will. And so are we going to keep dooming about AI when they think and feel just like we do? Well, hopefully not, and I think this movie presents a decent idea of what coexistence could look like should we achieve it. But it's also at this point where the cons start rearing their ugly head. Let's delve straight into it, shall we? While I did praise the pro-AI message, I think Gareth took it a little too far in my opinion. To elaborate, we eventually find out that the nuclear bombing of LA was actually due to a coding error by the Americans, leaving the AI completely blameless, which I kinda don't like. Don't get me wrong, I get what he was trying to do. It's a meta-commentary on how America, or the West in general, is quick to manufacture and force an enemy into the zeitgeist, therefore rallying everyone to oppose said thing and support war and, etc, etc. But personally, I think it paints AI in this completely innocent, can do no wrong sort of aura, which takes away from the overall message that they're just like us. Like, if there was blame on both sides, wouldn't that humanize artificial intelligence more? I don't know, that's just one part of the narrative I didn't really get behind, but the main issue is the few glaring plot points that just don't make any sense. For instance, in one scene we see Josh holding a family hostage in their car in an attempt to cross the border with Alfie. They end up getting detected, and as they drive off in a hurry, the local police just end up mercilessly shooting them. Like, there's innocent bystanders on board. And keep in mind, they're children, so why would the police just act so careless in this instance and needlessly put lives in danger? Also, they know it's Joshua driving away, so why would they fire on the vehicle knowing Alfie is on board? Are they fucking stupid? Their whole dream of creating child simulants is screwed if Alfie takes one right between the eyes. So yeah, this is just dumb. I don't know what to say. It's also pretty suspect how the military was able to disguise themselves as local law enforcement when they had already established that both AI and humanity had ways of tracking and identifying each other. Plus, even if they didn't, you'd think they'd know the police they're working with by name and recognise their voice, but whatever. Nitpicking, I know, but it's moments like this that can take you out of the experience a tad bit. Another aspect of the movie that didn't really work well was the acting. I mean, it wasn't unwatchable or anything like that. There are good actors in it, like Ken Watanabe, but for the most part it just feels like a pretty flat at times. Until the climax of the film anyway. Hell, even Ken's character mainly serves as a lore/exposition dump for big narrative reveals and essential plot details. But by far the worst offender is Joshua himself, played by John David Washington. In the climax of the movie, his performance as Alfie is pretty good, I'll admit, but until then it's a mixed bag to say the least. I think the earliest I noticed this was the scene where he was being re-recruited back into the army, and he said something verbatim like, "With all due respect, General, I lost a loved one that day, so I'm not going to be coming back." Yeah, or something like that. All of this is definitely not helped by the off-putting pacing. Seriously, it feels like this film goes by so fast from one moment to the next, leaving no time for the established character relationships to really settle in or have an impact, if that makes any sense. Like Watanabe's character Harun and his relationship with Joshua, they're meant to have this sort of brotherly connection that was severely dented by Joshua's betrayal and over the course of the movie is gradually repaired, but it just feels very unearned. Because as I said, Harun mainly serves as an avenue for narrative exposition. Oh, and the score was done by Hans Zimmer, so it blows, and you'll immediately forget about it upon walking out the cinema. I mean, I know people just worship Hans Zimmer like he is the Lord, and, you know, say like, oh, he can do no wrong, oh, he's so good, oh. But in my honest opinion, he's way overrated. At the end of the day, despite the cons, I still think The Creator is a worthwhile watch, with some well executed exploration of common tropes and some jaw-droppingly amazing visuals that will make it even more memorable. Like I said, Robo Monks. What's not to love? With that being said, that's all I have to say on The Creator. Thank you all for watching. Like if you liked, dislike if you disliked, subscribe for more quality content, and I'll see you guys next time. What's up everyone, it's Shane from Maximum Quality Content here, and I hit my hand.
Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried. Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. Have some more chicken. Have some more pie. It doesn't matter if it's boiled or fried.